Over the past few months, I've monitored a load of my clients' businesses and just noticed that most ignore a feature on their business profile that guarantees to bring in loads more customers. And I found on that survey 94% had just not switched this feature on. And that's likely the reason why they're not getting the customers that they deserve. And so because of that, it's something I showed my customers how they could do it, and I'm going to show you how to do it today on this video. And it's so easy to do and to follow that it'll get you having leads going from this to this, and from this to this. And there's no excuses because it's really easy to do for your customers. And they will love it because it answers their concerns, it builds up trust, and it makes them love your brand even more. And they'll then be picking up the phone and calling you like this. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what the issue is and how you can solve it, how you can check that you're using it correctly, 3 ways to optimize it so you get more sales and customer inquiries, and why my strategy will help your customers and Google just love your business. So, what actually is the issue we're referring to that 94% don't know about? Well, you notice on all these businesses, they're getting customers through their Google business profile, but much of it is not turning into sales. And you might get 50 or 100 showing here on your stats, but let's be honest, how many of those are actually directly buying from you? I've been there where the stats say one thing, but the figures and the turnover and what you actually make is a whole new different situation. And I know myself, it can be really disheartening and frustrating sometimes, and you just wonder whether it's ever going to really make any difference what you do with your Google business profile. And you try 1 or 2 extra settings and it just doesn't seem to have an impact. This is where the issue lies, that there's been some confusion and Google hasn't been clear as to what it wants you to do until this very moment, which we're now going to look at. And the issue is this, that this only really shows on mobiles, and so most business owners don't realise that on their desktop they can switch this on, and due to some confusion when the app was originally released, Google confused things, and messaging, bookings, chat, there was just a bit of confusion through the app and through how you operate it. And as you can see here, the Google My Business app, well, after a while it was then pulled because people didn't really understand how to use it correctly, and Google messed up big time. And that's why I think this has been overlooked, this feature, and so why you need to do something about it today. So it's all down to the messenger part of the profile. On a mobile, it's often shown as chat, as you can see here. And this then means that customers can find your business on Google Maps, but they can then communicate with you, they can chat to you, they can ask you questions, and you can respond to them straight away. And that's a great way of opening up communication with potential new customers. But you know what? It also gives a very interesting signal back to Google in the algorithm. And of course, that will help you rank long term. But I'll show you a bit more on that in a moment. So we can see the issue is that most people haven't switched this on. So let me show you how to do that. So you jump onto your computer, go on your desktop, log into a browser, and then type in your business using the account that you logged your business with on Business Profile. And there you'll then find your business. There in your profile, click the message icon. So you see the icon here, click on the icon, and then you can turn on chat. And it's free, it's really easy to use, and you just follow literally where it says the button turn on. You can do it there. This is also how you can check that you're using it correctly and that you've switched it on, because if it doesn't enable you to turn it on, it's because it's already on. But where most owners go wrong is they just leave it there. They've switched it on, they go, great, now we're ready to go. But that isn't going to be what you need to do if you want this to work. Because there's at least 3 ways in which you can maximize the opportunities and make this into a conversion machine. But first of all, you might say, but what if I'm on holiday? I don't want to be answering chat and messages. I want to have a break. Well, again, that's taken care of, because if you don't want it to be inside your business hours, if you don't want it to be outside your business hours, if you don't want it to be on a certain time or a certain date when you're away, if you've got a vacation or a holiday, then you can deal with it by just clicking here. It's pretty intuitive if you follow it. But earlier I mentioned that this strategy will help customers and Google love your business more. So how do we know that? How do we know that it gives the right signals to Google? Well, look here, Google emailed me to say about response times. And here it shows again that they're monitoring your average response times and how often you respond to messages. If they're monitoring it, then they're taking the signals back to Google's algorithm. And you notice here, to support customer satisfaction, Google may deactivate chat for your business if you don't respond to more than 90% of messages. So this gives us a massive clue. Google is very keen on you using this. They want it to be used as a way to communicate with your customers. And from my experience, that's absolute proof that Google is going to use this. They always reward businesses that do something they're promoting, but it's understandable. Let me ask you, if you had a friend that asked you if you knew of any plumbers you could recommend, and you knew of 2 plumbers, and one plumber would never get back to you when you phoned him, and the other plumber was always proactive and always there, you could communicate with him easily, which one of those 2 would you recommend? Well, it answers itself, and Google sees it the same way. Which ones of the 20 plumbers locally is it going to recommend? Well, if one's always actively getting back to customers, returning calls, returning messages, 90% or more of the time, Google is going to see that as an important part of the ranking factor and recommendation, because ultimately Google wants to put forward the businesses that are going to serve customers the best. If customers are then happy, they'll use Google more. If they use Google more, Google remains the top search engine. But how does this really help your customers? And what about those 3 tips I mentioned earlier? Well, the first way is brilliant at helping your customers because it maximizes sales and inquiries. So if you go to here, you go to your welcome message, and you notice this introduction is produced by Google. So it's just been written, but it doesn't really appeal to humans. And if you don't change it, it's just going to say a generic, boring introduction. I think it says something like, "Hi, how can I help you today?" But is that really going to engage your customer that's looking for you? So why not make it more appealing? Mention what you do, maybe mention a promotion, mention the business name. You've got 120 characters to use here, so use them well and engage your potential customer, because it's the first time he's engaging with your business when he goes through to Messenger or to chat on his phone. Okay, what about a second way? Well, the second way to take advantage is to use FAQs. Now, there's already a section to use FAQs on the profile, but this is separate, this is different. So here you want common questions that will solve your customers' issues fast. And what's more, Google will give you AI to help you to do this. So remarkably, you've got your own questions can be added here, but also AI will then use those and understand them and try and do some form of conversation back through messaging on your behalf. And automatically it also scan your website to get even more information to help answer their questions. So when you turn this on, it's even more powerful because it will adapt itself to help your customers get answers to their questions. But the third way is my favorite way. But before I share this with you, please do subscribe if you haven't done so you don't miss the next tips to help you grow your business. So, okay, what about this third one then? Well, with this, I've sold loads of consulting, I've sold courses, I've sold digital products. Even when I'm sleeping, it's worked on my behalf. So what is it? Well, the best bit is you don't need to know any code. Just by answering their questions, but adding a link to one of your landing pages, Google makes this into a link and sends then the traffic through to your products, your services, your consulting, as you can see here. So that's businesses solving problems at a whole new level. They're communicating with potential customers and already getting them to one of your landing pages, answering their question and providing the solutions for a product. And that's all taking place automatically using Google's AI and your FAQs. And this is going to send signals through the roof when it comes to satisfying your customers and Google getting the right signals back on the profile. So those were 3 great tips that I think you should try straight away on your business. But also before you do that, there's 13 more tips you can try right here, and these are also going to help you rank even higher.